It's just another state that needs to be explored without explanations, without answers, without change. Yet, it is a very critical state of being that once observed, listened to, the brain can direct control to have power over that state of being. For you are not also seeking answers. You are only accepting clarity as it is. And you are always naming where you are, where you will be. You're not predicting that things will be better, but you are accepting that where you are going, it is there. And where you are with her, you named it. I was here. Genuine love was there. Genuine care was there. Not just to a state that you are in, but to a state that you needed to experience and realize that this perception and this consciousness needed to be explored and experienced. Maybe you had anticipated for something long term on your side. Maybe she did too. But on the way, something changed. Something shifted. The connection that you thought you had, it was not adding up. Something was off. And that is when you cracked the code without intending to, without even planning to, but just by being in the state of there and accepting where it will take you. And you know that everything has to be explored naturally and it has to be genuine. There must be a real connection without reinforcement. She brought up control and power, and you never hated that. See, she's planning to live in that forever. You are planning to exploit as a state. That is what builds you. For being in that state alone, it is high value. It is accepting where everything will take you. As you accepted that being in this state of being, you are dealing with someone who is experiencing a different reality. That is a consciousness that just needs to be experienced and not to be lived in. As for you, you accepted the fact that you don't need to hate her. For hate doesn't exist in this state of being. You only need to observe and not to get caught up in thoughts, trying to understand her and get the answers, but trusting that everything will fall in as expected. If you are not meant to be together, it will happen. If you are meant to be together, it will happen. And this crushed every connection she thought she had with you, or maybe every bait she thought she had on you. And in this process, she ended up realizing that she was playing herself. As for you, when you moved on, you did not reach out. You did not explain yourself. You did not try to seek for answers. Not as a performance, not as a manufactured picture, not to show off, not to prove anything to her, nor even so that she can learn the best lesson possible. For you, it was not meant to be, yet it was the best experience ever. You named it. I was there. You moved on. As for her, when she started having a relationship with you, with a system that she had mastered, with a foundation that she was building on, she expected a specific return, a specific feedback and result. And now that it's not working, she walked out of your life. Not that she is detached entirely, but as a reinforcement to her system so that the games can finally work. But see, these games that exist, they don't really exist on your world. For being on a different timeline means we experience different consciousness that we choose to, as long as we expect a specific result. And the law of polarity pushes her to a world she wants to experience, since she is spinning every explanation to a system that she believes in. And in that is the enslavement. And on her side, now that it's not working, it is when she is seeking answers, or she's trying to modify her system to come up with the best solution ever so that she can sustain her system. And in this is when she seeks to control and reinforce power. But here's the thing, she is wrong. Because power and control on your world, it doesn't exist. On your world, it has no place. So, you don't seek meaning in words. You don't try to prove your worth. For you accept that in that state of being alone, that is the worthiness that exists in the self. But for her, now that she's trying to modify her system, without even realizing that the system itself doesn't exist, she will try to reach out. Hi stranger, how is that work going? But see, that is not the issue. The thing is, she expects your response. She expects to see you viewing her status, maybe reaching out, maybe quickly responding to that text. For her, it's all a game. She always had an expectation. But we all know, when there is an expectation, then it means we are doing everything with a plan expecting a specific result. Yet when we expect result, we get no result. For applying an effort to reinforce power and control, in that it means you are seeking to control for what doesn't exist. And what doesn't exist can easily trap you psychologically if you can't get answers. And until she learns this, that she has finally put herself in a cage that doesn't even exist, yet it is there to be experienced, she will never learn. She's going to seek for a different host. Or maybe she would brush it off. Maybe she would think that she is living a different reality. Maybe you are different. Maybe she will think that you are using mind games to come up with the best action possible, to come up with the best facade, with the best act, with the best character, with the best reaction, so that maybe you can be ahead of her. But all these imaginations only belongs on her world, and you already explored it. You already experienced it. For you, doesn't bother. It doesn't matter. You named it, there. You moved on.